We all know that narrative art forms are some of the most impactful. But do you really think that we, especially in today's society, are interpreting it to its fullest potential? I mean, if you remember anything at all from English class, you'll remember that all our long answers seem to start with, in so-and-so line, what the author means to say is, and so on. I find this very self-limiting, because after all, any work of art contains textual and subtextual implications far beyond what the author consciously intended. My second major gripe with common sense interpretation is that the political is relegated to an auxiliary instead of the primary motivator for interpretation. I mean, show of hands please. Raise your hands if you think you are genuinely an apolitical person. There you go. In society, we are all in some or the other sense slaves to ideology, and this reflects in our work. Now that I have made my case for a model of interpretation based on the political unconscious, let me put forward this model. This model was first proposed by Dr. Frederick Jameson, a Marxist literary theorist, in 1981. And it has three main levels of readings of the text. At the first level, we're focusing on the text as a symbolic object. Here, the function of the text is to resolve certain social contradictions, whether they are ideological problems or some general social ill that the community is slowly becoming conscious of. The way the text uses narrative means and methods to mask, to reconcile these differences gives us an idea into how the text works at the first level. The second level that we're interpreting the text at focuses on the text in terms of ideologemes. Ideologemes are phrases, stills, but mainly narrative elements that convey some smaller aspect of the broader whole, that is ideology. By focusing on the way these ideologemes express themselves in the text, we can understand the ideological persuasions of the text. But this is not all. At the third level, the broadest reading of the text, we are focusing on the text in terms of modes of production. Modes of production are, for example, capitalism, feudalism, and of course socialism. Now, at any given point in time, in any given society, yes, there's a dominant mode of production, but there are also remnants of the prior ones and signs of the ones to come. And these tensions between different modes of production give us an insight into the main ideological workings of the text. I'm now going to make things a bit clearer for you guys by illustrating this with reference to one of my favorite 70s movies, The Parallax View. Show of hands if anyone has heard of or seen this movie by chance. Well, I'm going to explain this. The Parallax View is a conspiracy thriller revolving around reporter Joe Frady as he investigates a series of shady political assassinations and uncovers some suspicious secrets about a multinational corporation and ultimately the US government. Now, at the first level, the ideological anxieties being resolved by the text seem to be twofold. Anxieties around surveillance stemming from Watergate and anxieties around political assassination following Kennedy and MLK and so on. The way the text resolves the latter is by putting all the blame to a multinational corporation, and the text resolves the former by depoliticizing the issue. Not mentioning any political parties, and thus masking potentially ugly ideological truths. The second level of the text, the main ideology I'll be focusing on is the reporter Joe Frady. He's the very essence of the investigative reporter, dogged in his pursuit of truth. As long as such a figure watches over us, there is no reason for us to be concerned about surveillance or political assassinations or corruption. He'll uncover everything, but the movie subverts this towards the end, with his eventual failure and death, signifying the cynicism of the surveilled and the power of their would-be rescuers. And for our third level, we must consider the modes of production in 70s America. After all, the neoliberal markets of the 1980s were slowly springing up, displacing the existing government controls on things. This tension is most obviously reflected in the Parallax Corporation, a multinational corporation with powers such as brainwashing and collusions with the government. Due to time, I can only go this in depth, but I hope I have been clear about how we can use the concept of a political assassination, political unconscious, to effectively analyze texts to their fullest potential. My name is Dhruv. Thank you for listening.